I have not said that out in public yet because it just happened. It
Okay.
just happened, and it's not in any of my books.
Okay.
So during the solstice, again, during the solstice last year, I saw Yelda Bay of Jewel. During the solstice this year, because in my group, I have a Facebook group that's called Exiting Reincarnation, private group. And in that group, people kept asking me if I have remote view, if I have seen in my astral travels and my non-physical out-of-body experience, if I have seen Earth as round or as flat.
Okay.
And I have always seen a ball. And the ball surrounded by like a glowing kind of dome kind of stuff, and then layers of dimensions there, the astral realms and stuff. Always a ball. But then I always thought of it as a ball because I was always taught that was a ball, right? Since we were little, we were shown like a little globe in school, and right. So I couldn't even imagine that could be something else. And so here I decided to clear all of my preconceived notions and go, and during the solstice time in the middle of the night, it was peaking actually this time, which is good. Good thing. So I went to look for what Earth is like, really. I was like, okay, I want to do this and see what it is like for real. Are you sitting down?
Yes. I'm on the edge of my seat.
Dude, I did not find anything around the flat. What I saw was strings and strings of code.
Whoa, really? Like kind of in the Matrix type of thing?
It was completely black space. And in the black space, there was like a rectangular formation of code, and it was just kind of floating up and disappearing. And there was the glow that I have seen before, that bluish glow kind of like from the screen in the middle of the night. And that's it. I was like, no, that can't be right. That cannot be right. So I literally got back into my body, like woke up, so that I reset the whole thing. And I was like, I'm doing this again. So then I got back into the state, went back out, same thing. I did this 6 times and I saw the same exact thing. Is this new? Is this the upgrade we've been talking about? Is this something that like the next level of the simulation? Or was I not able to see that before? I don't know.
Maybe too, it could be, I've heard that a lot of times when you're, and again, I haven't been able to do it yet. Maybe when you're remote viewing or astral projecting, a lot of times you're decoding the information you're seeing with your past experiences or past references. So this was the first time that you cleared it out. And then you're seeing kind of like the back end of, for example, as opposed to seeing the projection of this, of what we see on a computer, now you're seeing the inside the hardware or the baseline code, maybe something along those lines.
Exactly that. So I'm thinking that previously I was seeing the projection on the screen kind of thing, right? What we all see. But here I was looking at the back end of how it's actually created to be projected. Ooh, that gave me like chills like you would not believe. So this is something I'm still chewing on because that just happened last month.
That's wild. Okay, well, breaking news, everybody, if you're watching this, that's pretty crazy and pretty, very, very, very interesting. A little unsettling, but that's how it goes when we're trying to decode the truth and understand what's going on.
Look, unsettling, we're talking about that this whole thing is a simulation and it's artificial intelligence projecting our reality, that it's a computer program that, so it is, if it just could be supporting evidence. I wouldn't say proof. I wouldn't be so bold as to say, okay, now it's proven, right? But I would say that it could be a piece of supporting evidence that it is indeed a simulation, right? So this could be a piece that belongs in the pile of, okay, it is a simulation. And when you look at Earth, it's neither flat nor around. It's a computer code.
Yeah, and maybe
strings of code.
and it's our consciousness perhaps that's actually whatever's been programmed into us is perhaps reading the code and interpreting it certain ways, perhaps.
And the strings were not, they were not numbers and not letters. They were symbols. There were symbols. There was some sort of symbols, like kind of reminded me of like light language symbols, but I could not get close enough, so to speak. I could not zoom in enough to actually get the code, but they were not our earthly zeros and ones or numbers or letters, you know, and not geometric forms either. They were some sort of symbols, and they were literally moving. They were moving in strings within that rectangular form, and on the top they were kind of dissipating, getting like narrower and dissipating with the glow around it. So very, very interesting. I recently watched a new documentary called Illusion. The link is in the description, where they made an attempt to explain the nature of our reality. And for me, it was kind of meh until closer to the end, they started talking about everything being nothing more than geometric patterns and codes. And also about discovering the microtubules in our brains that actually serve as decoders of these geometric codes and patterns into our perception of reality. And this reality is projected from and kind of onto the screen or the fabric of a black hole. And this matches what Gareth Dynam and Sasha and myself all saw in our meditations. And then Jason Paget described how after his brain injury, he now sees reality in geometric patterns and codes too. So our brains are the computers, the devices that are decoding these patterns and codes into what we perceive as reality. And this is exactly what David Icke has been saying for years. So the film sounded to me like we're finally starting to figure out how the advanced non-terrestrial technology works and uses patterns, frequency, and code to first create and then sustain the dream of the Earth matrix and us within it. And it also explains the vision of Earth as a pattern of code that I recently had.